And
Wait, hold on. Welcome everybody to Thursday night underwriting call. We're gonna talk about, hey Grace, we're gonna talk a little bit about creative financing today. Then we'll do some napkin underwriting. Some of these are exciting things to really learn while we go into the market that we're headed into right now because it's super exciting. It's super exciting times. A lot of people are scared. But as you arm yourself with the knowledge of what's possible now in real estate, when there is economic downturn like this, a lot of people get scared. And when people get scared and you are loaded with information, this is the time that you will take full advantage of the market. And this is where money is really earned. The biggest transfer of wealth will probably happen during this economic downturn time. I don't know if it will go on for another 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. I don't know, maybe 3 months. Who knows? As information starts to travel faster and faster, and everybody starts to learn, that they need to have mentors and people are more confident in the way that they do things. It the 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 transition period happens faster and faster. If this was 20 years ago, this would go into a depression for many, many years. But as the time and information travels faster, these periods shift faster. And because it will only get to a certain point when everybody knows this is too ridiculous and too low, and we're gonna get in and buy it. Okay, because everybody knows that at some point it's gonna come back. So everybody's starting to learn you don't have to catch the bottom, right? You could just catch anywhere on the way down and on the way back up. You could catch anywhere in between there, and you're gonna make a whole bunch of money when it comes back. So very important, and it's great, awesome that you guys are here on this call. Um, Grant Cardone is hosting a call tonight as well. So I don't know. We'll see how many people show up, but this will be a nice, I'm guessing it will be a cool, intimate group. And we'll be able to answer questions directly. So I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's talk about some creative financing. If anybody here has done any sort of creative financing in any area, it could be creative financing with your car. It could be with, I don't know, sports cards. I don't know, anything. So Ryan has something to share. So go ahead, Ryan. Share with us your knowledge on creative financing.
yeah, so when I was doing single family, and Todd's with me as well. So when I was doing single family homes, back, 20 years ago, in addition to obviously just buying them outright with loans, what I would do is I would, I watch all the Carlton Sheets, stuff and all the, and they all talked about, controlling the property with, if I didn't get price, I would always try to get terms. And the terms would be either owner financing, meaning that the owner was the bank for me. And typically what that meant is that they're a lot more negotiable. So like our deal in Fort Pierce, for example, they might say that like that deal is a 3-year loan, but we can much more easily negotiate with an individual than a bank and convince them to go a little bit longer because their needs are different than a bank's needs. The bank's needs are basically making a great return for the investors of the bank. So they go by certain rules and they're not flexible in those rules, but individuals are. And that's what's so great. And so that's, owner financing is great. The nice thing about owner financing is that, the owner gets different tax write-offs and than you would if you did an agreement. There's different tax benefits for owner financing because what happens is you're paying a mortgage payment to that individual, just like you're paying to the bank. So you do still get to write off those payments or a portion of them based on the percentage that you're paying for the loan, et cetera. A certain percentage you can write off. And there's also sometimes better tax implications for the owner as well. And they'd be different than if the owner did, for example, a lease with an option to buy. The lease options are great. I like them because they're super simple. I mean, I could control a property with just a lease and then an option, and there were like literally like 2 sheets of paper. One was a lease and it was super simple to fill out, and the other one was an option to buy. And on the option, you'd identify what the option money is that you would be putting down in order to have the right to purchase that property at a fixed purchase price at some time in the future. So what I would do is I would try to put as little down as possible, like maybe $500. And then when I went to go lease option it to somebody else after I controlled the property, I would get as much down as I could possibly get. So if I controlled the property with only $500, I would try to lease option to somebody else for 5,000, let's say, and I would make the difference, so $4,500. And then obviously, if I'm leasing with an option to buy, the other thing that I would do is I would try to get the lowest lease possible. So I would lease it maybe at $1,000, and then I would lease it to somebody else at $1,500. So I'd make that difference, that delta, every single month of $500. And the other thing that I would do is I would try to get my lease option to be as long as possible. So I would try to get the person that is trying to sell the property to me originally, that I convinced to do a lease option, I would try to get them to do that for 10 years, if possible, 20 years, the longer the better. And then obviously I would negotiate a price at that time that's as low as possible. And what I would do is I would lease option as many times as I could in between the time that I started my lease option and the time that I ended. So let's say it was 20 years, I could maybe, get, 20 other lease with options to buy if people defaulted in that same period of time, and get all that other option money. And then potentially, the whole goal would be for me to have my option price be lower than the person that's buying the property from me. So I would make that delta as well. So lease options are great. I mean, you can literally I think there's a way soon to basically take control of these huge multifamily deals for people that are really desperate. If you can convince them that you can follow through and actually give them what they want, whether that's their payments monthly or whatever, just to take it off their hands. And then you could renegotiate it and with somebody else, and then lease option it to somebody else. Yeah. The key though is to record all these documents ahead of time, because I did a lease option one time and I did not record the lease option. So when I say recorded, I mean you literally have all the paperwork pre-signed by the seller. Like literally you have a purchase agreement and a sales agreement already signed ahead of time and fully executed for that future date, because I had somebody not follow through because the value of the property went up so much. And I learned my hard way. So anyway.
Cool. Thanks for that. So I'm going to show you guys what he's talking about. So it's, in case this is flying over anybody's head. But okay, go ahead. Ola, let's hear, what do you have to share on this topic? You're still muted.
So basically, I belong to a note school, and all the teachers there is creative financing and assumption of mortgage and, creating your own notes and stuff like that. And it's very beneficial to the landlords who have owned the properties for a long time and they want to sell it without having to pay capital gains on it. So usually what we would do is tell them that, okay, we can assume some of them don't have loans on it anymore, but some of them do still have loans. So the ones that have the loans, we will assume that mortgage and get it as long, get it to drag as long as possible, just like Ryan explained. But then when we're going to selling the note, we'll sell it with a higher down payment so that we can give the landlord whatever he needs. I've asked him, what are his options? What exactly does he need? Because, finding out the reason he wants to sell it, maybe he needs a large sum of money. Or we can even anticipate, we would even tell him, okay, in the next 5 years, do you anticipate that you're going to have any money that you're going to need? And then we'll give him that as part of the down payment, and we will structure the note so that we don't have to pay anything for maybe another 5 years. And then the next 5 years after that will be like maybe 2%. And then the interest rate that we structure, it will be like a 3% after that, 5 years, then a 4% after that. So by the time you get into 5%, the loan is already paid. It will balloon in like 20 years, something like that. So that's how we do the creative financing over there.
Nice. Cool. Yes. So that's another way, but it's all very, very similar. The thing about creative financing is like you kind of get to go back to the old school way of doing things. You
Right.
know, you as the seller find out what is it that the owner needs. And there's more of an interaction. It's not just a broker in between and we don't even see each other. And then we just sign a document and then we say goodbye and the property transfers hands. You know, that's the way we do things now. But, you know, when it comes to the seller financing, it starts to get pretty cool. You know, I've done a couple lease options that Ryan talked about. That's actually something that I learned. And the negotiation process of it was really, really fun. And I started to learn that I make up what people will want, but I don't even really know what they want, right? So it's about finding out what a seller wants and what they need. What is it? How do we create win-wins? So I'll share an example shortly of a deal that we're in right now and what are the options and creatively what we're doing. And sometimes a lot of this creative option gets confusing for older sellers. You know, people that are just like, no, I just want to just sell this thing and I don't want the creative financing. So you got to do a lot of hand holding in this, but it's great because you get to deal with people on a personal level. You get to really try to build trust in those spaces. So Heather, you share first and then I will go forward.
Okay, I was just going to say that when I bought my first home when I was in my 20s, it was a seller finance situation, and they ended up accepting a $5,000 down payment for the home, and then they carried the note for 2 years. I paid an escrow company, and they paid the mortgage, and then in the 2-year time frame, I paid a $20,000 balloon payment, or I could refinance the house and move along. So that was really nice. That was in about the 1990s. I did that.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's going to make a comeback, especially this is the time in the market where it starts to make a comeback. And I think we're still a little bit early. What we're seeing is that sellers still have not felt the impact yet. They don't believe the impact of the market. So they're still holding strong. But, you know, 2-3 months down the road, we'll see what happens. So let's just so Nick, can you, if anybody joins into the room, you will have to approve because I will have my screen sharing and I won't be able to see it. All right, so make sure you're on that. Okay, I won't be able to see any hand raises either, so I'm going to just share my screen first. Let's see. Can everybody see this black screen? Okay, so what Ryan was talking about is a lease option. Okay, so lease option looks like, so here's me and Bob, the seller. Okay, and then on this side will be me and Steve, the new person that I'm going to bring in. Steve wants to own a house. Okay, so Steve right here, he wants to own a house, but he doesn't know how to. He doesn't have the credit. He can't afford it. He can't, you know, whatever this scenario is. Bob wants to sell the house, but also the market, you know, it's people are having a tough time getting certain debts. So he wants to get $320,000 for his property, but because of the debt market, somebody who once was able to afford 320 can now only afford 250. So what do we do to create win-win situations here, right? So me, I go to Bob and I say, hey, Bob, I'll give you the 320. Okay, I want to give you the 320, but let's do that in 3 years. So in 3 years, you will get 320. Okay. And what we get to do is save a whole bunch of real estate agent fees as well. So you won't have to pay that. You're going to make a whole lot of money on this. Okay, Bob? So what are we going to do? We're going to put, let's just say we put $1,000 down. We're going to give you 1,000. Oh, whoops. We're going to give you $1,000. Okay, down. And I'm going to pay you I don't know, let's say $2,000 a month. All right, so you're gonna have great cash flow on this, and we're gonna do this for 3 years. And then I'm gonna purchase a house on the third year at 320K. You won't have to pay any real estate agent fees, nothing, all of that. Now, me and Steve, I'm like, Steve, and this is exactly what I actually did. Okay, when I went with the lease option, this is when I learned it when I was a little bit earlier in real estate. So I was like, okay, Steve, I want to sell you this house also. Now I have control. See, this is what Ryan was talking about. You want to have control. You don't need to own it. You have control of it. I'm like, Steve, $380,000. I'm gonna sell you this house in 3 years. Okay, so 3 years, 380K. I'm gonna sell it to you at that time. Now, I'm gonna need a $8,000 deposit right now. Okay, down payment. So you guys are starting to see how this is creative. It's a win for me. It's a win for Bob. It's a win for Steve. All right. So Steve, okay. Also, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do $2,600 a month for rent, but 200 of this $600 will go towards every month will go towards of your purchase price. So now I'm making $600 a month, plus I made $7,000 down, right? And when we close this deal at the end, there is no real estate agent in between. Okay. And so this is a very simple lease option and just kind of finding the middle. And in the meantime, I'm really trying to help Steve. Okay. I'm going to give Steve all my resources. We had a credit program that we put people onto. We had my mortgage, my buddy who's a mortgage broker. He helped. Okay, this is what you need to get your income to. This is what you need to get your expenses down to. This is the number. You have to get your credit to this number. So there was a goal. We educated Steve as well. So that's another win for Steve, right? And then Steve was able to buy this property. And so that was, you do this a couple times, you have a good cash flow going, plus you have a decent amount of money down. Now I never really got to 5,000 down. 1,000. We put 5,000 down was the lowest I've ever got it. I've even put $13,000 down before. So, that's one way of doing lease option. Another way that Ola was talking about also is there was this loan assumptions too. So there is a deal that we're looking at right now. Okay, there is a $2.5 million loan on it. Okay, I think it's a 4.4% Fannie Mae, a Fannie loan. All right, so Fannie loans, if you get out of a Fannie loan early, there's a prepayment penalty. So let's say this is a 3% prepayment penalty. That means there is what does that come out to? 2.5 million times 0.03. So that's not that bad at all. So well, I guess for 2.5 million, it's a $75,000 prepayment penalty. Let me just double check that math. Yeah, 75K prepayment penalty. And I don't know what other penalties there are. Maybe it's higher, maybe it's lower. But what we can do is we can assume this loan. We can assume this loan because if I was to go out and get a new loan, Fannie right now, or even a bridge loan. So bridge loans are the multifamilies equivalent to a private loan in single family. Okay, so you're going to be looking really at, the difference would probably be like a 7.5 right now. Okay, and still climbing. So I think we actually just got a loan today. We got a quote. It was 6.8 was the lowest that we got. But let's just say 7.5. See, there's a difference if we were to get our own loan. So we can go and assume this loan, but what do we need to do to assume this loan? We need somebody that has an existing experience and have a Fannie or a Freddie loan before. So this is where we start to get creative. Hey, we will assume your loan, okay? You won't have to pay the prepayment penalty, and we will pay you what you want for the property. but also let's give us 75,000, give us the prepayment money in, you know, an escrow or something like that, right? So it helps us with our reserves. So we can build all of these things into a loan when you're working directly with the seller. That is a loan assumption. The other thing that we're doing is, and I'll take questions after this part, and then I'll stop after that. So we have a deal in Fort Pierce right now. So it's a $3 million deal that we offer, that we got. The owner will hold 1.5 million at 7% IO, interest only. No prepayment, no prepayment penalties, no fees, nothing. So it's a very simple closing. It saves us a lot of money. And now we get to weather the next 3 years at 7%. It was great. This is what's going to start happening in the market as sellers are being pressed, because they still want to get $3 million for their property, but they know how hard it is for people to get the loan now. And since they can't get the loan at a low enough interest rate, people are offering this guy now like 2.3 million, 2.5 million, whatever. So seller financing. This is what we call creative financing. I'm seeing it more and more. A lot of people who want to exit are going into seller financing because they thought they could have exited, let's say 6 months ago, November, December. They're like, ooh, the market's getting real hot. Let's see if we can catch it at the top to sell. But what they didn't know was it takes many, many months to close. And in that time, anything could happen. So this is what happens when you're trying to catch the top. People are trying to catch the top. You know, I know so many people that were like, man, I should have sold 2 months ago. I should have sold 3 months ago. I'm like, so what was it? He's like, oh, I thought it was going to go higher. I mean, that is the story of so many people out there. So it's no different in multifamily, except the results of it hurts a lot more when they don't, when they try to catch the top. Because what happens is the deal before, so they had this on the market and it dragged on for like 5 months. In that 5 months, the entire debt market changed, and it changed not just a little bit, it drastically changed. So now he got dragged through this whole thing. He didn't sell his property. Nobody is going to offer him the money that he was going to get. He's actually out probably $2 million because he was trying to catch this market. And you know, this is what he's left with. So he gets to do this. Now we can also, what we offered was this. Okay, let me just show you the deal a little bit even more. This 1.5 million at 7%, we're going to be giving him $105,000 a year. All right, that's the loan that we owe him. So this is the loan. Oops. Loan. He's going to lease back from us a warehouse, a 17,000 square foot warehouse that he runs a $1 million business, moving business out of. So he wants to lease that back. What that's going to be is we have a lease for 5 years at $12,500 a month. That's $150K a year. Okay. That means he's going to have to come out $45,000 a year. All right. That would be his obligations a year. Okay, everybody follow? Now I'm like, if you hold a $2.5 million loan and we only have to put $500,000 down, okay, right here, also he's got a $1.1 million loan and he would have gotten $1.5 million from us. All right, so he's going to end up with $400K in his pocket. Okay, this $1.1 million loan, 500K of it is at 5%. Oops. At 5%. 600K of it is at 2.3%. Stupid. I'm like, you need to hold on to this loan. You can make money off of this loan by holding on to it. So what it looks like, all right, if he didn't take that first option, so right here, he would have, his obligation is $49,000 a year, and he would end up with $400,000 in his pocket. All right. Option one. This is what we have in contract. Option one. We're doing that. Option two that I proposed was, look, if you give us a $2.5 million loan at 7%, you're going to get $175,000 a year from us. Your obligation, okay, is $150K that you have to pay us, plus this loan right here costs about $70,000 a year. Wait, what's happening? No, sorry. Cost, oh yeah, so 75,000, that would be 220.
Yeah, 220.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm doing the math wrong somewhere. I offered him something else. So I offered him 500K down. So he's gonna have 500K in his pocket.
And he's going to carry 2.5 million instead of 1.5 million, right?
Yeah, at 7%, which is 2.5 million. Yeah, so that's 175,000 he's gonna get from us. He ends up with 220.
Yeah, Alex, you would subtract the 175 from the 150, right? So that'd be 25 because he's actually paying us the 150, right? Just like up top.
Yeah. But he's also got, oh wait, sorry, this is not 70,000. This is
It's 25.
50,000.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sorry. So this is 59,000 that he owes to the bank. So his obligation really is 150K to us, 59K to the bank. So that's 209. Okay. That means 209 minus what we pay him. His obligation is $34,000 a year. All right, let me just double check my numbers that I had. 1 second. Okay, so let's see. He doesn't pay off his debt. We put 500K down. Right. So, I mean, look, here is the difference. Okay. He gets he has another extra $100,000 in his pocket, and his operations per year is $15,000 less. This is a win-win for him. And for us, we only have to put 500K down instead of 1.5 million. I mean, well, yeah, 1.5 million. That means the extra $1 million. Okay, also, we told him the extra $1 million is going to go into CapEx work on the property. If we mess up this loan at all in any way, he gets a property back with CapEx work done to it. So as a seller, this makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now, because he is super simple dude and doesn't really understand all of this, I painted this for him as easy as I could. But he's still trying to work through understanding this, and the broker has been pretty tough to work with. And the broker's like, don't listen to all this. Just, I recommend you just go with the original contract. Either way, it's going to be a great deal. The second option obviously works out better for all of us. But this is the thing about right now is that sellers have not felt enough pressure yet. There's not enough pressure there. When the pressure gets heavy enough, the option that we give them is people will take it. And there's going to be a lot of deals out there. Now you're going to look for deals that are going to be under 100 units. That's going to do this. All right. It's going to be hard for you to go out and yes, I should totally invite the seller to this call. Yeah, and I think as we, build a relationship, because he's going to be paying us rent and we're going to be paying him the interest over a period of time. We have a 3-year agreement with him. I don't know, this deal, we can drag this thing out for 5 years, 7 years, the interest payments. Because he's very simple. All he wants to do, because I was like, listen, Mr. Seller, Mark, what is it that you want? He's like, I just want to focus on running my business and taking care of the people that work there right now. So one of the things that we talked about was, there is somebody that's in the front working the storage side of it. I don't particularly think she does a very good job. So if I was to come in, I'd probably replace her, but we could train her up to our standards. And so, this seller and I are talking about splitting her salary. That's going to be great for us, So there's a lot of options. And this is when we say creative financing, it's just about working with the seller. All right. It's about working with the seller to create win-wins. You never want to beat a seller or beat somebody over the head with a deal that's so skewed your way. Get a win for sure. Get a win for you, but make sure it's also a win for the seller. You want to find out what the seller actually wants. All right. So just real quick, I'll show you guys the napkin underwriting we did for that deal. So this is the Michael Blank sheet. Hey, here we go. This is the Michael Blank sheet. I've shown this to a lot of people. You guys can download this sheet in the email. All right, so you want to start playing with this sheet. All right, this sheet you can go very deep into, or you can do napkin underwriting like what I do. Because what I do is I do a napkin underwriting, and then I send it to our underwriter on our team, Mr. John Sidoti. A lot of you guys know. I send it to him, and he does a much deeper underwriting. Okay. Usually he's like, oh, you got to add this, you got to add that. And it gets all super deep into it. And it ends up becoming like the same number anyways. Because I'm just, I've done it so much. I've done so much napkin underwriting. Usually it's even, the numbers look even better because I overestimate. So this deal we plug in, we just did my version right here, $300,000. We put 50% down, $1.5 million. Interest only. We're interest only for forever on this deal with the seller. So we have 1.5 million we got to get a loan on. All right. I put $400,000 for CapEx. That means anything that we're going to build. It's going to cost us $400,000 to build out a very simple RV parking place. Okay. That's going to bring us at least $120,000 in income, net income a year. Do you know what? So that turns out to be 33% on cash returns of putting $400,000 into this property. That's a sick business plan inside a sick asset that we have already. Okay, for 400,000. So we're raising this right off the bat. If we need to raise more, if we need to do other things, we will get a supplemental loan on top of it to build storage units, build another warehouse, something like that. We're going to look at all the different ways to make this place worth the most. Now, $400,000 I put in here for reserves because we have to put about $350,000 down on this property hard day one. Okay, and then that's going to be closing costs, lawyer fees, all of that's going to be included in here, still with $50,000 in reserves. We took the income of the property, and then I took 40% because I know that storage units operate somewhere between 30 to 40%. Sometimes even less. John actually did the actual numbers and he came up with 27% expenses for this property. I don't know. I like to just go way over. Even when I presented this deal, Grant was like, you are not going to hit 40% on storage. He doesn't even do storage and he knows. He's like, this is way high, this number. All right. So we're conservative, right? So Whatever else is going to be plugged in here only increases our number. Down here, interest rate 7%, costs us $105,000 a year that we got to pay. The seller's already paying us more than that, so this is why it's a great deal already. We're getting this property basically at an 8.45 cap. If anybody has seen the webinar, I did not write 8.45 cap rate. I wrote 6.5 because I want to show very, very conservative things. Okay. If I showed this underwriting on the webinar, people probably wouldn't even believe it. They'd be like, what the hell? Is this a real deal or did you make this up? But I'm pretty conservative still in this underwriting. Summary, there's no closing costs, none of that stuff, because I already put it into this cost right here, this 400K, and it's with the seller. There's no bank, nothing with the lender. But so we have acquisition fee. We got to come up with a total of $2.36 million. Do we have to raise the CapEx? No, we don't. We can actually just get a supplemental loan on top of it, which would probably be even better. That means less investors will be able to come into this deal. So we are considering that as well. Cash flow. It starts here because we're going to be doing CapEx work. Then it just gets crazy. All right. So we took out all the acquisition costs here. Exit strategy, in 3 years, we refinance at 6% interest rate, conservative. 65% LTV, it's going to look like 93% comes out. If you invest $100,000 in 3 years, 930,000 comes out. Okay. Total returns on this property is 181%. That means it is a 2.8x in that time. All right, so the IRR 32. These are pretty numbers that if I put out there in this market, people just wouldn't believe. So we scaled down even more, when we presented it, because we want to crush the numbers. We rather undersell because we put a number in our slide that was so good already, which isn't even close to this number, that Grant was like, you got a cash cow here. And every single person, literally, there are so many people on our list. So we have a soft commitment list sheet. We haven't even filled it out completely. Like probably 50% of the people are not on there. And we already have definitely well over this raise. So it's pretty interesting that there's a lot of people struggling raising money for deals. And then when you have a good deal, you will not struggle with money. So I hope that you guys are taking this in. Like, don't just jump onto any deal. Don't jump onto any team. Like, do it correctly. Do a deal that is great. Money will come easily. You will not struggle getting the money. Like, we have no doubt in our minds that we have 30 days to close this. No doubt in our minds that we're going to raise it. Okay. Because of this type of return. So this is my napkin underwriting. This took me 10 minutes to do. Okay. It looks like a lot of things happen, but most of this is all auto-populating. You just really have to fill out this first sheet. So that's my napkin underwriting. You guys should start to practice napkin underwriting with the Michael Blank sheet. All right, practice napkin underwriting with this. In my group mentorship program, we're definitely going to go through a lot of napkin underwriting. We're going to talk a lot about from seeing an OM to underwriting the deal fully. And then how do you write an LOI? How do you get it under contract? What do you need? Like all of this is going to happen on a mentorship program that I'm doing, which is pretty crazy right now. I said 10 people. I remember when I first on this call 2 weeks ago, right? Was it 2 weeks ago, Nick, that I was like, yeah, we're going to take 10 people on this journey. Right now, there are like 30 people that applied. And I'm trying to get through the application processes. But it's going to be amazing. It's the journey to general partnership. And you're going to learn all the A to Z's of doing a deal on a general partner side, and you're going to get a partnership with us. Okay. So I already told my team, I'm like, listen, I'm not doing any deals. I'm not doing any of the deals that we have in Texas, none of the deals. I'm going to reserve all of my capacity to do deals with this mentorship team. So that's what's going to be happening in the next 6 months for me. I'll probably only do deals in Florida and in Vegas, and everything else will be done with the mentorship group. All right. So I will raise money for it. Everything that I teach this team to do, I will also be doing. Maybe it will take 6 months. There's a promise of 6 months for the course. I'm going to provide, you're going to be on an maybe intense or a fun journey for 6 months with me. Maybe it takes 5 months to be in a deal. Maybe it takes 1, maybe it takes 3 weeks. I don't know. I did it in 3 weeks. If it's faster than that, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that's I'll take some questions right now.
Alex,
Thoughts, questions? Yeah.
am I seeing this right? It's 217 units at 13,825 each.
So
Where's this thing at?
wait, hold on. Whoa, what happened to my screen?
10,000 or 3 payments of 4,000.
Wait, what are we talking about right now?
I'm looking for this infinity, and it's bluish.
Was it blueberry?
No, it wasn't blueberry though. It was like a.
Desert breeze?
Hold on.
My,
Let me get back to my Zoom meeting. Okay,
me see
what
what
was
it's
the question?
Mom, but that's like green.
yeah.
It's
I
not a
was-
blueberry. Okay, go ahead.
I was asking if I'm looking at this underwriting correct. It's a 217 unit, right?
So it's 216 units of storage and a 17,000 square foot warehouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that 17,000 square foot warehouse counts as 1 unit. So it does seem a little bit weird.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's a fast napkin underwriting. You can go much, much deeper and write this much more intensive. Why is it just my face popping up? How do I see everybody? Here we go. So yeah, other questions, thoughts, questions, anything about the market, anything about where you're at? What can I help you with? What do you guys want to know? Where are you stuck? Where do you want to go? And what can I do?
What do you feel about the Nashville market and the Indiana/Kentucky area? It's kind of one, it's like middle of the country, east side.
Yeah, look, if you're gonna be in the master in the group journey, and you're gonna tell me what you think about it. You're gonna teach me about the market, okay? Because I don't got a deal over there, but I hear it's great. So you're gonna teach me. You're gonna teach the group, and you're gonna enroll us if that's where you want to do a deal. That's where we're gonna do a deal, and we will. We'll make that happen.
Already sent it to Danny, so
Yeah, let's go. So
I'll fill the pipeline up, man.
good.
All right.
So this is why it's going to be great. You got a group of people coming together, and we're going to really figure out how we're going to do a deal, and we're going to take a personality test. You're going to fit into where you fit in. And that's the only place I want you to go, is what you're interested in, what your personality type works good with. And you're going to do that, because when you get into a deal, all right, when you're inside a deal, if you don't like underwriting deals, you'll learn how to underwrite deals. If you don't like to manage if you don't like to be the asset management, you will still learn to do that. If you don't know how to raise capital, if you don't know how to pitch deals, you're going to learn all of that passively. But I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on what you're strong at. And this is an advice for everyone in any team, whatever you're doing now. Don't try to do a whole bunch of different things. If your skills, even if your skills is simply you're a master at Canva, you have a place on a team. If you're great at doing Canva, just make the best freaking pitch deck, make the best investor monthly newsletters, make stories, make things for the group. That is a little thing that people don't even realize that could be needed. So you'll find, you know, if this is where you're good at, you do it. We'll probably do like the Tony Robbins, what is that? The DISC personality matrix that they use. There's a couple different ones. So yeah, sure. Let's if we don't have any questions, show me the deal. What you got? Let's talk about it.
What's going on, everybody? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So so we're actually taking a look this week at a deal here in Pompano, not too far here.
Pompano,
And-
let's go. I love it.
Yeah. So so just real quick, the asking price is 4.5 mil.
Wait. Ooh, 16 units or 4.5 mil. Holy crap. All right, hold on.
Yeah. And it's basically on the water. Like it's like a block away from the beach.
All right. So 4.5 mil.
So we got 4.5 mil asking price at a 7.07 cap.
Okay, so hold on. I'll just show you guys how to get around this. So let's first do 4.5 million divided by 16. This is 281 281K per unit.
Sure.
Okay. You said it's what cap?
7.07 cap.
Okay, so you do
Just multiply the two, right?
yep, by what? 7 point what?
7.07.
Okay, let's just do 7.
Yeah.
So they're saying, so what I did was I took 4.5 million times 0.07, 7 cap. Okay, so you're gonna get, so first of all, value equals NOI divided by cap. They gave us the value, they gave us the cap, so we get the NOI right now is 315K NOI, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what's next?
All right, so now we're looking at so now what's it going to cost us to get into this deal, right? So 4.5, let's say
let's just do you're gonna have to do somewhere around, you're gonna raise half the money right now, so 2.25 is gonna be something that you're gonna raise right now.
Okay, so we got to raise half the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, 3.15, 315K. Let's just say times 2. So, 50% expenses. They're saying they should have somewhere around 630K. And I'm sure this is a lower number and they just have very low expenses because that's how they're going to sell everything to you. They're going to be operating like 18% expenses. But we're smart and we don't do that. So this is your gross. So 630 divided by 12 months, divided by 16 units. Can you get $3,200 a unit?
Can you get 3,200 a unit? And they're
Per
2.2
month.
by the beach. It's very possible in that market. It is possible. It's pushing it, but it wouldn't surprise me, man, being on the beach.
Okay, so let's just say they do. We'll trust them.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to put, let's say 2.25 million. So this is gonna be your down payment plus closing costs, plus the acquisition fee that you're gonna raise, plus the reserves you're gonna raise, plus the bank reserve that they're gonna have you leave in place. So that's why I'm putting, 50% of what you're gonna raise. So that's not the exact down payment. Maybe your down payment's only 40%. But since we're doing napkin underwriting, we want to just do it quickly, and try to get the right numbers. So it's not over. This is probably going to be the number that you're going to need to raise. I'm telling you. So,
yeah, I hear you. I had only calculated 35%, assuming 65% LTV. So So
Yeah,
yeah,
and then closing costs, but you know, you might not even get that right now in this market. You might get 40, you might get 60% LTV. Okay.
got it.
So all right, so 2.25 million. That means you're probably gonna have somewhere around a $3 million loan. All right. Do you know what type of rates you're gonna get?
So if we're assuming 7%, let's say we
Okay, so
assume
you're
a
gonna get
7%.
7%. So 3 million times, oops, 3 million
7%.
times 0.07. So you're looking at $210,000 in debt that you got to
In-
pay a year.
In payments, correct.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. So now if our
So
NOI is
assuming,
315, right?
uh-huh,
Then what's that? We have a difference there in cash flow, positive difference.
yes,
Cash
so
flow.
you have $115,000
10, 3, 10,
cash flow.
105, right? And
Oh yeah,
then-
105, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so 105 divided by 3 million. I mean 2.25 million.
105 divided by, what was the down? We said
2.25.
2.25. So yeah, we're looking at on 4. It's like a 4. Is that right? 4%? No.
4.66.
So it is a 4.66 cash on cash. Okay. What targets
Yeah.
are you usually trying to hit?
I mean, look, if in this market you can do that, but look, check this out. All right. If there is so much pressure on you having these units rented out. Okay, let's say we're gonna take, let's say we're gonna take a 5% vacancy, 5% bad debt. That would be 10%, right? That we got to take out of your gross. That's $63,000 out of this gross. Now you're looking very, you know, there's so much dependent on these units, each unit to perform throughout the year. You know, if you have 1 month of the turnaround, somebody moves out and you got to do 1 month, you know, that's a lot of money that comes out because it's so, I mean, it's a lot. You're depending a lot on this unit. Now, also, how much money can you raise on this? You know, like we're heading into tough times in the market. You know, like will people be able to afford this, or will these people just move like 2 blocks away from the beach and pay, you know, $2,500 for a 2-bedroom? Right? If they move a little bit further, you know, another block west, maybe they move a block west of 95. Now a 2-bedroom is like a $1,700.
And they put their stuff in storage.
Yeah, and they come to our storage unit and they put their stuff in there. So you know,
what'd you assume there, Alex, on 630 gross? 63K is 5% vacancy and 5% what now?
bad debt, concessions, all that stuff. You know, so basically you're just gonna count yourself as operating at 90%
Got it.
efficiency. So like it could be a good deal if you get this number, but it's better if you can have a better debt than this 7%. Because in order to get this 7% right now, that means you're gonna get into some sort of fixed debt. Okay, Fannie, Freddie, something like that. It means you can't do much to improve the value of this. You're kind of sitting there and hoping that the market will say that in a couple years, this property will be more than 4.5 million. And I believe that this is already pushing the height of how much this 16 unit goes for. Okay, buying something 200, and in Pompano, buying something that's $281,000 a unit. Okay, that is a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, are these renovated units? Like, are these fully new renovated? Probably not, right?
They look pretty decent. They do look pretty decent. It looks like it says C, it says it's a C asset, but it looks like a B neighborhood. And
Well, I'm
does
sure
look-
it's a good neighborhood. I mean, Pompano, as long as you're on the east side of 95, it's all pretty good. I
Mhm.
mean, not 95, federal, sorry, federal.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
so they're all probably pretty good. But 281 a unit, you could be buying a class A asset somewhere. $4.5 million, you could be buying a 45, 50 unit somewhere. You could be buying our storage unit of 217 units, like more,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the difference between this deal is you got to raise this much money to get 16 units versus, a deal that's storage. I mean, if you just increase the same percentage of units, we have 217 and 3 million, you would get 300 something units at 4.5 million.
Hmm.
Like that just seems like a lot safer play when you got a lot more units.
Of course.
Yeah. So,
Makes total
it could
sense.
be a good deal, but it's a risky deal and you're not going to be able to get a lot of. Hey, Nick, there's people in the waiting room. Just okay.
I was making your flyer.
Okay.
I saw it.
Okay. So sorry, who was it that was in the waiting room? I don't know how long, but that's what you're looking
Make
at.
me co-host.
Okay.
Thank you.
You've been fired, Nick. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I hope that you guys do see that, see the difference. Like those are two very similar size deals, like our storage deal and then your Pompano deal. I think if you had a whole bunch of money and you were just buying this yourself, have at it. But when you got investors' money and people are dependent, and now it's a 4.66 cash flow that you're going to be offering them, it's
It's tight. It's
one
tight.
thing goes wrong in one unit and this whole cash flow disappears.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep. I hear
So
that.
is it, if it's a trophy asset, then maybe, but you're looking at a class C asset in a decent neighborhood, and there's probably going to be a hard time raising the rents on this. And even if you did, let's say you raise the rents by, I don't know, $200 a unit, which probably won't be hard if somebody's paying 3,200 a unit. I don't think they'll care about paying 34. But as the market tightens and everybody's money tightens, do they want to be forking out 3,200 a month for rent? Or can they move 2 blocks west and pay $600 less? Right? There's like,
Mhm.
when you think about it that way, logically, it's probably not the best to go into. I mean, when you said 16 units at 4.5 million, I'm like, holy crap, where are we? Right. I don't think this is a Pompano deal. This
What?
could be like on in Miami, maybe it would be good, but Pompano is like, I don't know. It's all right. It's no like Las Olas, or it's no like, Wynwood and Miami, whatever, all those crazy places where people will pay an arm and a leg to live. Pompano is not that place. I love Pompano. I lived in Pompano for like 3 years, but I was paying $1,100 and I was living pretty close to the water.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I guess you'd have to make an offer at a higher cap.
I mean, it's 16 units is just not a good play, Like you should go for at least 32 units. In the beginning when Grant was like, hey, everybody, 32 units. How do you make $1 million? 32 units, raise the rents by $200, right? I've shown this math. I made a Instagram video. You buy a property that is 32 units. You increase, let's say you buy it at a 5 cap. All right. Doesn't matter what the income or anything is, but you raise it by $200. So you got 32 units. You increase it by $200. Okay, we'll multiply by 0.9 for occupancy
Efficiency.
rate or whatever. Yeah. Then you multiply by 12 months. What is this number? So 32 times 200 times 0.9 oops, what did I just do? 3,200 times 200. Wait, not 3,200, 32 times
32.
200 times 0.9, if you guys are following along, times 12. That is 69,120 extra dollars of NOI, okay? Adding to your thing, remember value equals NOI divided by the cap rate. So now we got this NOI divided by the cap rate, 69,120, divided by 0.05, 1.382 million. Okay, so I mean, that's how you make $1 million. Now, if you take the same thing and you took 64 units, all you have to do is raise $100. You take 128 units, you raise it by $50. You take 256 units, you raise $25. That's how you make $1 million. So think about like how important is number of units.
Yeah, I'd have
You
to
know, I
raise
was
what,
just on, I was,
400 bucks
Yeah.
on 16 units to do the same thing.
yeah, I
That's
know,
tight.
and
That's pushing it.
you're already paying a whole lot, right?
You're
So
pushing it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
when I was on Grant's show this past weekend, my deal was his favorite deal. I have 44 units. Okay. And people brought, when I was sitting there, when I was there, you know, in the line of people, and I was listening to the deals that people brought, somebody brought a, Grant, I would like you to buy the IHOP across the street from my business, and we're going to make it a wedding chapel. I was like, what? Ain't no way Grant buying that. The second one, somebody was like, oh, I got a 4-unit, right? I got a 4-unit renovation. I'm like, Grant is not going to go and renovate 4 units to make any amount of money that you think is going to be made into 4 units. Somebody brought $1 million luxury home. He ain't doing that. And then somebody brought 16 units. I was like, oh, okay, we got the 16 units. But when Grant showed up, that 16 units wasn't even there. Like there was a picture and there was things and all this stuff that this guy wrote. And then he also showed up like 30 minutes late. Yo, Grant was so pissed about it. I think we'll see that on the show for sure. And then yeah, me and this guy Victor were both part of Grant Cardone's club. We both brought the actual multifamily to the show. So we made it to the finals. We were battling each other. They turned us on each other. It was pretty funny. You guys will see when it comes out. But number of units is super important. I was like, Grant, 44 units. We're gonna raise $200 on this. You know the math. How much is it? And him and Ryan did the math. They're like 1.8 million. I'm like, I'm gonna make you $1.8 million on this deal. So I don't know. I didn't win. I'm not bitter. I had fun. So yeah, 50 units or better. Magic number. Victor knows. Yeah, oh wow, it's 6:04 already. That felt like 20 minutes. Questions. We'll take just a couple minutes. Questions, thoughts. Any of this flying over your head? What would you like to see, you know, coming up? What can I do for you?
So 64 units with a $200 rent increase is $2 million made.
$2 million.
Okay, got it. So that's a nice rule of thumb to go by.
Yeah, man. So, oh man. Well, the replay will come out for you, so don't worry. So 32 units, $200. That's your $1 million math. All right, we can all make that happen. 32 units, probably somewhere in the country is $2 million. We can buy one. But in a good place, if you want a good location, rents, no problem raising the rents. I don't know. You're probably looking at 32 units for somewhere around $5 million, 5 point something. Probably good deal. We're looking at one in Las Vegas right now. Ryan was there with me. 30 units, $5 million, right next to the Fremont Experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds very similar in terms of the numbers.
That's why I did it.
Yeah.
So, you know, this game is super simple. Like, just like if you're getting confused about it, any parts of it, just hang around more. ask questions. Like you should be coming onto these calls to ask very specific questions. Like from now to the next call, with this math right here, you should be looking at a bunch of deals. Anything that you can, underwrite them, do the napkin, write it on a napkin for all I care. But the Michael Blank sheet is in the email. You can just click on it and you can download it. I'm probably not doing anything illegal there, but don't tell anybody. Go ahead, Jackie. Jackie.
Sorry, I'm dressed up for the night already.
Ah, don't worry. Me too. I'm dressed for the day and night. It's just what I wear every day and night.
Thank you, Alex. This might sound silly, but I just need to clarify my thoughts going on. As you said, if I find a deal, I underwrite it and I say that it will give me the magic number that I want. Do I call the broker first or do I call the lender?
You should probably call the broker first. Okay, because sometimes the broker will actually have a lender in their brokerage, in their firm, that they can give you something directly with. You know, so you'll have the broker, but you should be getting your own loan too. So you should have people that you know. We work with somebody from Marcus Millichap to get the loan. Their finance department. So a lot of places that you look at deals, they will have, if it's a big brokerage, if it's like, Keller Williams, it probably won't. But, know the big ones, Newmark, like who are the big commercial players in your market? Okay. So call the broker. Always call the broker first, because the broker, you want to be asking for other deals. You want to ask about this deal. You want to tell them your story so they give you another deal. See, it's about this whole game. Every single part of this game is about coming into an inner circle. You want to be on an inner circle for the broker. You want to be on an inner circle on a team. You want to be an inner circle everywhere. You want to figure out, how do I get to participate on a more inner circle? Right, you guys being on this call, I get to know you guys if you have your cameras on. If you're here 3, 4, 5 times, like, George, Ryan, everybody being here so often, Ola, like, I know you guys now by face, Andrea, Grace. So I know you guys, right? So you guys are kind of like more moving into the inner circle. And then there are the people that are like, and then there are the people that invest with us, is the people that join the groups, and now they're even on a more inner circle. And then when they land on the GP team, more inner circle. Now the most inner circle is me and my wife. So that's my most inner circle. And there are people that are right around it. There are people on this call that are right around our inner circle around me and my wife. So it's about getting to the more inner circles. And with the brokers, same way. You have the listing that's everyone sees. Millions of people are seeing it. Then you have the little more inner circle, which is an email that they send out maybe 1 or 2 weeks before they list it. Okay. Then you have an even more inner circle, which is the people that before the OM is even written, they get an email. And then you have the ones that are such good deals that they just make a phone call to you and you do the deal. So Grant is on like an inner circle with a lot of brokers where deals don't even go out into the market. They call him and say, hey, I know this is the deal that you want. Let's go. So that's why when people are like, oh yeah, you can bring deals to Grant. No, you can't. You can't bring deals to Grant. His guy is going to bring a deal to him. So unless unless it's so off market, you have a direct connection to the seller, you're not bringing any deals to Grant. You're not bringing a deal that is on Craigsy to Grant, and he's going to close that, right? So inner circles, get there and use everything as a stepping stone. Every single one of us have a very clear vision and very clear goal of where we're going. And every part of our journey needs to be a story that adds up and builds towards the big goal. You could lose $1 million and that story could be turned around to, this is what I need to do. This was a stepping stone to get me to that. All right. So you are in charge of the stories you create in your life.
Alex, so in that case, after talking to the broker, when do you call the lender? Like when you're certain that everything is in place?
Oh, as
then
soon as you
call the
love the
lender?
deal. As soon as you love the deal, you should start to call the lender. Now, also, you got to be on the in with the lender, because think about if you just like a deal. If all 30 of us look up deals right now and we're like, oh yeah, we like this deal, and we just call the, let's say we all call Robert DiMagella from Marcus Millichap. We all call him. He's gonna be, what's he gonna do? How's he gonna
He's
get
gonna
us
choose
all
the
the same
closest
day?
person. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to also perform. And see, this is why it's so important to have a team, be able to leverage a team that you've closed deals, because they're not making any money by writing you a quote. They're going to make money when you get in and close the deal.
Mhm.
So everybody is filtering through, are you capable of closing a deal? Whose team are you on? Lashika, hey, welcome, brother. Why don't you
Alex,
share?
the one I sent to you, you didn't even look at it. You said you were going to look at it.
I'm gonna look at it. I have a thousand emails of people sending me deals. Okay, I'm gonna get to it.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Thank you, though.
Get on a more inner circle.
I'm trying. I was waiting
I
for
know.
you.
Okay, I know. It's my fault. It's my fault. Okay, Lashika, why don't you share with the group what you shared with me today about, when you're when you're by yourself calling brokers, like what do they say? What was the
Yeah, I called about, as I mentioned, I called about 8 to 10 people. Nobody called me back. The few of them who answered the phone calls, basically, few of them, it was like, okay, if I have something, I'll reach out to you. Boom, hung up the phone on me. And one person who was like, I was kind of, I guess, the way he was speaking to me, I kind of got stuck in my words. And then he was like, oh, what was the last deal that you did? And I was trying to look for it. And then he was like, okay, I don't have time for this. And he hung up on me. Yeah, I was like, oh.
Listen, this is the reality of the game. They're so busy, and I'll tell you right now, I'll give you some feedback. You don't sound like you have a deal done, right? So that's the thing. When you have and are in a deal, you will not speak. Your whole way of speaking is going to be different. And brokers, I haven't had one broker ask me for proof of funds or where my deal was. Like, that's how confident that I speak to the brokers now, because I have 6 deals under. And it takes, my first one, I sounded like an idiot probably, So you got to get the experience. You got to get in on a deal. Thank you, Grace. So yeah, we're going to start to wrap up here, but I appreciate you guys being here. The purpose of this call, the purpose of being on these calls and me doing them is I really want everybody to be on the same mindset as me as fast as we can, like underwrite the way that I underwrite, think like the way I'm thinking about the deal. If you bring me a Pompano deal, 16 units, 4.5 million, like I'm just sharing with you what I'm thinking now, right? So if you bring me a 216 unit storage, in the markets that we're in, and it's 3 million, now I'm definitely going to take a look at it, because see, our thinking is closer. There's no gap. Now that's just on the deal side. Now there is partnership side, there is GP tables, there are so many things that I want our mindsets to be aligned. And who's going to get there? How do you get there with me? It's by listening to these calls, by hanging around what we're doing, hanging around our deals. Like Lashika, if you hung around long enough, being on these calls, you would have known that we had a storage deal. You would have known that I had a deal in Georgia that we just closed today, 174 units. So just by knowing these things, you can leverage me. I want you guys to be able to leverage me. Like, I would love it. I would love for you guys to do that. All right. So, yeah, that's, Ian, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so you're speaking on leverage. This is where my question is coming from. So LP side accredited, you gotta be worth $1 million or have 200,000 income. Say we get on a team, get on a deal, GP, and the deal's worth, obviously over $1 million, and you're probably worth over $1 million, I would assume. So how can I leverage that to make my net worth over $1 million to where I can become accredited?
Well, so we can enter with one LLC, and that LLC will be an accredited LLC.
Mhm.
There you go. See, easy leverage, right? It's the same thing. I have a deal that is $12 million. I can't sign on to this loan, but somebody can. Right. And this is about building relationship. This entire game, when you get that, it's not you versus, it's not me and the rest of the world out there. It's me and the rest of the world out there. Like capital and, not lowercase and, like I'm separate. But when you're like, when you see everything as any piece that I have, okay, Heather, any piece that you have that's missing, any gap, somebody can fill it for you. That's why this is a relationship game. This is a people game. This is not a money game. You don't have a money problem. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have a trust problem. You have a relationship problem. Okay. So last questions before we wrap this up. So I appreciate you guys being here. I always go past the time because that's just how I roll. I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah. Boom. All right. There you go. Victor can raise money. It's a beast. He's great with brokers. See, like this is, if we came together, okay, us 25 people right now, and everybody just wrote in, this is what I can do. There's no doubt in my mind we can go out tomorrow and get $100 million deal under contract and raise it and close it. Just the people in this room. I don't even know any of you guys, but I know what I'm capable of bringing to the table. And with support of people here, no doubt. I'm liquid over. Oh, dang, Victor. All right, all right, all right. See, this is now I'm gonna remember Victor very, very well. The next deal, we're like, huh, who's gonna put in some? You're funny, Victor. All right. Well, I'll be reaching out to you. We'll be doing things together. Yeah, boots on the ground. Great. Where do you live? You live in California. If we do a deal in California, which I probably won't be, I will call you. Boots on the ground. Victor, everybody's gonna be asking for Victor's phone number and info. I'll move. There you go. See, look, this is how it works. We all figure out what we can do and how do we contribute to a team. What are you willing to do? Oh, uh-oh, he dropped his phone number. Everybody set up a call with them. So yeah, this is thank you guys for being here. Monday night, do not miss Monday night call. Robert Martinez will be on that call. If you guys don't know who Robert Martinez is, he is like the biggest dude in Grant's club. All right. He's got $800 something million asset under management. He is a monster. He's got 200 something thousand followers on Instagram. So he's a role model for all of us in that club. He is coming on Monday, and this dude does not mess around. So don't miss that call Monday night. Okay. So it's been fun. It's been great. You guys are all amazing. I can't wait to work with every one of you. Robert Martinez, Rockstar Capital. Look it up on IG. Something like that. Rockstar Capital. He's a beast. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
all
Alex.
so much. Have a fantastic night. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.
Hit me up.
Cheers, Alex. God bless you.
Bye. You too.